Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and as of today I have officially ended my quarantine. And for those of you who know, who follow my channel, are probably aware that I was tested positive for COVID when I came to Korea. So I'm going to talk about my COVID experiences when I get home. Cute plants. Alright, welcome to my channel once again. I just got inside my dorm room and I'm just sitting on my bed with my body pillow just to talk about my experiences as a COVID patient last couple weeks. So I just got released from doing the quarantine. So for those of you who follow me, probably know that I went overseas for Christmas and New Year's, and I got back early this month. Before I got tested positive, or before I flew out from LA, I started feeling very sick. I was having some like body chills, body ache, and it felt like I was having a flu. And I kind of felt like, and I was a little scared that I was gonna have COVID. So then I went to go get tested because before you fly out from LA, you have to get tested negative to go on the flight. So then I went to 2 testing centers just in case my test result didn't come out in time. I got tested twice and both of those test results came out negative. So that my family and I concluded that it was just body flu that I had. So I started just taking NyQuil or some painkillers just to kill my flu. And I went on the flight, and even on the airplane I was feeling really sick, but I was still like relieved knowing that I didn't have COVID, right? So then I come to Korea, and the protocol here is as soon as you land here, either on the day of or the next day, you have to get tested. You have to do a PCR test and report the test result to the government or to whatever city you're living in. So then the next day, the next morning, I went to go get a PCR test for my COVID with my fiance. And the next morning, I get a call that I have COVID, and I was tested positive. And the protocol here is that you quarantine 10 days when you come from overseas. So I had to quarantine anyway, but because I flew in from another country, I was required to be sent to a government facility at least for 7 days, because I think they're just trying to kind of prevent any spread of variants. So then they came to pick me up in a van. I got picked up with other people who were tested positive. We got driven in a car. So this government facility was like an hour away. So when I got there, they put me in a dorm, or they put me in a room with another COVID patient. So it's kind of ironic that I had to share a room with another person, but maybe they thought it was okay because we're both tested positive. But anywho, I stayed there for about 7 days, around 7 days. They prescribed me medicine for my coughs and whatever symptoms I had. They served 3 meals a day, 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m., which is pretty painful because I'm not a morning person. So it was extremely hard for me to wake up in the morning to pick up my breakfast that was left by the door. Also at the government facility, they announce every like 30 minutes about the regulations they have that you need to follow. And even when they serve you meals, they like announce through speakers that your meals are served, and they speak in like a couple different languages, which means it can go on for like 10 minutes. And by the time the announcement is done, it's like 7:10 a.m. and I'm already like fully awake. I just want to talk about some of the symptoms I had. As you can see, I'm still coughing. I clearly remember the day I started feeling sick. I was in a car with my family driving from Joshua Tree. It was a pretty cold night, but we still had like a mild heater on. But I was so cold that I kept on like asking if I could turn the heater up a little bit more. My feet were cold, my hands were cold. I started having body chills, but I was just thinking like, oh, maybe because it's just really cold that night, and I started coughing a lot, not because I wanted to cough, but my throat was extremely itchy. So that I continued drinking like hot tea, water, and try to just warm. And then a couple hours later, I started feeling really, really sick. Like my body was just not feeling 100%. I wasn't sure if it was body ache, but it was really hard for me to even walk. I just had no energy whatsoever. So then I was just thinking, okay, this is either COVID or flu. But I was still waiting for the test result. So I was just kind of like crossing my fingers. So my main symptoms were body ache, body chills, and a cough. I didn't really have a headache. Well, I did have a headache for a couple of days, but they were pretty mild. And I want to say the symptoms have lasted at least like 12 days. My body chills and body ache are pretty much gone. I'm not feeling too sick, but I'm still coughing a lot. So I'm constantly eating cough drops, drinking hot tea or water. Now this is pretty interesting because when I was in LA, I stayed with my family, right? Sisters and my parents and my fiance, and none of them got sick. Actually, two of them, so after I got tested positive, all of them got tested too, but only two of them got tested positive. And they had no symptoms whatsoever. Well, I think they had like some mild cough and maybe a little bit of sickness, but it only lasted 2-3 days. And the other two, they had no symptoms at all. They were not sick, and they tested negative multiple times, which I find it pretty interesting. So I want to say this can depend on your immune system. So relatively speaking, maybe I can say I have lower immune system than my family did. I do get tired a little bit more often than other people do. I do get sick more often than other people do. After that, I just started taking lots of vitamins. Yeah, so that's my COVID experience so far. I did hear some horrible experiences from other people. I just don't know a lot of people who had COVID, especially in Korea. But when I did go to the States, a lot of people had COVID experiences, which I found interesting. Here, I don't really have any friends who have COVID but myself. I don't know, I feel like my energy level has decreased a little bit after COVID. Maybe it's just like psychological, but I'm still coughing here and there, is dry cough. So if any of you are going through COVID or had COVID before, please share your experience below so we can kind of share some do's and don'ts and just build a community. But other than that, I encourage all of you to stay safe, wash your hands, social distance yourself if necessary. Thank you for watching my video, and if I experience anything else, anything more than what I have shared, I'll come back with more stories. Bye!